Hey, welcome to the channel. My name is Kryptonite from Drip to Wealth, and every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, we host Twitter Spaces with a special guest. This week, we had the Drip community. We had an open conversation about Drip, the animal farm, and what's really going on in the ecosystem. And we had some amazing speakers. It was on fire. I loved it. The best part about Twitter Spaces is your voice actually gets heard. You can have an open dialogue, an open dialogue with other community members. Nothing is left to interpretation. Your voice, your opinion. Let's talk about it. See you all next week. Peace and prosperity. Enjoy. Hey, what's happening? Trap, I see you. Westside Ian, welcome to the call. And we also have Curious Kiwi 23. Welcome to the call. Yeah, I appreciate you guys catching up on that last minute tweet. Our guest unfortunately had to reschedule for today, but I still wanted to have the Twitter Spaces, especially this week, given that we're still kind of waiting on a countdown and the release of Triple D. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and invite a few other people, make sure they can get on the call. And then I've got a series of questions I've kind of been thinking about over the last, 2 to 4 weeks. Yeah, and I'm really curious on if you guys are thinking about the same types of questions and what your response will be. So this is really going to be about the community and me just kind of gauging where people are at. So let me get a few more people invited and then we can kind of jump in. So don't have me sitting on an island. I literally want to hear people's voices. Rock, I see you just joined.
What's going on?
I'm good, my friend. How about yourself?
Fantastic. Just having a little play date with my daughter. It's just us two. I figured I'd jump on.
Yes.
And it's been a while since I got to say hello.
No, I'm glad you did, because this is really going to be about the community actually having a conversation at a B-Dubs restaurant with the music and the game kind of playing in the background, and we're just having like brews and wings and just kind of talking about what's really going on. So I know the voice is sexy as hell, not for the guys, but I want to hear yours as well. So for all my listeners, it's really important that you guys chime in. And then do me this favor, because this is going to get real. If you haven't already, just go ahead and retweet it and let them know that we're about to have, a very honest conversation about what's going on in the ecosystem. And I'm going to invite a few other people. All right. Rock, NYC, Sleepy, I see you just joined. Welcome to the call. All right. So let me get a couple more people invited and then we'll jump in.
Jared.
Right on. Lavelle, welcome, my friend. Good to have you. All right. Let me send this out. NYC, you probably missed my really quick intro. You too, Lavelle and Sleepy and Westside. I know you'll probably be quiet, but maybe you'll shock me today. NYC, you'll appreciate this. Like, today's a conversation about the community, so I really want you guys to be heard. I probably got like 8 to 10 like really dope, thought-provoking questions I want to get into. And I do want to kind of take the gloves off, right? And that doesn't mean that it's going to be a negative conversation at all. I just want it to be a very transparent and candid conversation. That's it. You know what I mean? And then as a group of mature individuals, we could talk about it, right? That's all I want to do. So NYC, let me know if you want to be a speaker. I'll go ahead and add you.
We do have some positive things after that AMA with Spritz and Coach.
1000%.
I mean, never has there been more going on for Drip or Drip's future. So, I mean, I'm feeling better than I have in a long time.
I was hoping you would say that, Rock, because Spritz is on my list. It's tagged with another community-related question, so I definitely want to get into a Spritz conversation as well. So again, for all of my listeners and my speakers, if you guys have not already, do me a favor. Let's go ahead and retweet it, and then I'll post it into the Drip chat, and we can go ahead and jump in. SC Crypto, I see you, brother. Welcome to the call, my man.
Yo, what's going on? I'm at the gym right now, so I'll be kind of chiming in and out, but I'm here.
Right on, right on. You and Drip Coach getting it in all the time. Y'all are my motivation. I need to get on it. All right, let's do this. Let me send this one, and then we can jump into it. This right here. Okay, perfect. We're all set. All right, so let's do this. Let's do this. So before I jump in, I just want to make sure we still do not have either a countdown or a specific release date for Triple D. Yes or no?
I think I can confirm
Okay.
that. Even though I haven't spent much time on the new UI because I'm like 8 days away from
Come
maxing
on.
out, and I want to max out on the OG UI.
Okay.
This is a weird thing, but for me, I'm doing it.
Rock, congrats, man. Not a lot of people make it to a max wallet. I mean, that takes commitment, right?
Oh, DCA and like crazy every single time it dropped below 30 cents.
Have you figured out what your average cost is yet?
No, but I understand there is supposed to be a website, and I remember doing the math on my own way back, and I think it was if we hit 48 cents as an average for claiming, then I would hit my ROI. And I think 50 cents I make profit.
Man, and that's not a lot, is it? If we're already hovering around the 30s?
Yeah, no, I have a good feeling about this.
You and me both. You and me both. All right, so now that we know, so Rock has confirmed we don't have anything else. Anybody else? I just want to confirm. Trap, got your hand up?
Oh, real quick, I just want to say, man, I didn't develop that shit, but I'm promoting it like I did. Get the My Drip app, man. It's so dope.
Yes.
You can see your averages, and if you update to the, I think it's like $8. If you update to the premium, they got new stuff now where you can actually see like it's dope art. You can see like shit. What is it? It's on my mind. It's on my
Yeah, the
tongue. It's on my
average
tongue.
cost, the average price. We just brought that one up. I don't know if that gets you
It's some
going.
new stuff. Real quick.
Here, I
Real
can pull
quick.
it up
Hold on.
too.
Let me
I'm
go
in
right
front of my
to it.
laptop. You're gonna do it too? Yeah.
Yeah, I just pulled it up. Oh, okay, I see now. You can see your sales, average price sales, like how much money your wallet balance is to your ROI, stuff like that. It even has a thing called Hydrobuy I've been playing around with. And one more thing, they updated. If you slide, I'm not sure if you did the premium, but if you slide your chart, you can see like some new art for your chart where your available is. And if you slide again, it says coming soon for DDD. It has some stats for that as well.
No, see, I didn't pay for the premium yet. I just saw the features.
It's sick, bro.
Okay.
It's sick. I'll post a still shot so you can get an idea of what it looks like on the graphic side of
Yeah,
it.
I think that'd be dope. I'm glad you brought that up. And because I use it for my average cost, and I just noticed it yesterday because I scrolled down a bit further to your point to see all the other premium accesses. I had no idea how much it costs, but now that you kind of validated that it's worth it, I'll spend the extra, bucks to get it.
Yeah, that's just in my opinion. I mean, $8 we spend that on Starbucks. You know what I'm
Totally.
saying? So, but it's pretty cool. I'm stoked to see the DDD stats for sure, though. Whenever that, it has to come out first.
Yeah.
But it's already ready to go, so that's cool.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I appreciate that, Trap. Good word on that. So right now, so let's stay right there. So how are we feeling about it? So again, remember I said let's just table this as a very open and honest conversation. And again, I'm not expecting anything to trend negatively because it's my job to kind of keep things level set. So if it goes off the rail, not really substantiated by facts, and it's really just a colorful opinion, then I may not let it ride too much. But let's just kind of talk through it. Like, it hasn't come out yet. Is that a concern of yours, or is that keep you very optimistic? Because now, like Rock, you've got like 8 days before you max, so now that allows you to get cheap drip for maybe the next couple days or so until Triple D comes out. Like, how are you guys feeling?
Can I
Yeah.
go? Hey. Oh, my bad, NY. You know they say move your feet, lose your seat. Now, but
Hey,
real quick.
hey, bro. What's good, my brother?
Hey, NYC.
What up,
Glad
I
you're
hope,
here.
man, I truly hope you're not spending $8 in Starbucks coffee, brother, because I'm still buying. Yeah.
I got a fucking coffee machine in my house, man. I ain't gonna lie though, it was like $200 something, but still, I got my money's worth, man. It's worth it. My old lady like espressos and shit, but look, you getting off topic. I just want to say I'm excited, man. And like you say, the cheap drip, people not realizing. I seen a post a little while ago. I think Ant's girl
Yeah, she just
shared
joined
it.
us too. Ants girl, I see you. Welcome to the call.
Oh, that's
Always a
crazy.
pleasure.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
we spoke her up.
What up, Ant's girl? Okay, yeah, I think she posted it. Don't quote me on that, but it was like a picture of somebody saying they kid or somebody bought drip at $300 worth of drip at $55. They cashed out $120, and the available is still $340. I mean, the deposit. So I'm like, whoa, no DCA and straight compounding. That is the game. The cheap drip, people don't realize the drip gonna add up.
Yeah.
It's gonna add up. And I'm just speaking from my own experience. I love this game we playing, man. You know what I'm saying? These mini pumps, they just get us stoked. And then we've seen it so many times, it makes you want to buy more. Because you know it's going to go down a little bit more, a couple cents. It gives you that green light, like, yeah, go ahead and buy.
Yeah.
It. You feel
Totally.
me?
No, I'm with you because I view it that way too, Trap. And I think part of the reason I view it that way is I've been locked in for nearly 2 years. So one can say, hey, KK, you're locked in because you're committed, right? Your money's fully invested. You've been compounding and DCAing this entire time. So for you, that makes sense. And I'm like, you're right. But, there's a laundry list of other reasons why I remain optimistic. So what would you say to somebody that doesn't quite see it the way that we see it because we've been in it for so long? Some people, and I'm gonna set the table, they can grow a little impatient with the process because I think a lot of people come into DeFi, and this is a general statement. Clearly, I'm hypothesizing. A lot of people come into this space with very little money and expecting to make a ton of money. And that's possible, but you have to be extremely lucky, right? So if they're kind of coming in with that mindset of, look, I invested $100, I was expecting to make $100,000 in a year, what would you kind of say to that person?
Watch me work.
I'd say watch a different YouTuber.
Can
Legitimately.
So I jumped on one just to say that was my son's story that I shared. That was my husband that posted
Right
that.
on,
So
girl.
Okay.
Little Alpha, if anybody didn't know who Ant was, it's Ilchu. But that's exactly, so we did that same numbers. We looked at the numbers and then we looked up basically the highest APR he would have gotten if he would have stuck that in a traditional bank. And that same amount of money in the same amount of time, he would have made $14
A whole 14
in a traditional bank.
Whole 14.
Whole $14. And we actually posted that because his original account was funded by his grandparents. They were excited about what we were doing. They said, hey, we want to contribute. We want to, instead of like gifts, let's start giving money and like see what you can do. And they lost faith in Drip. They had their own accounts. They stopped compounding. We've continued to compound, and we ran those numbers to share it with my in-laws because at the end of the day, they originally asked us to put it into a bank account. We would have only made $14 off of that. He now has Bitcoin, Ethereum, and BNB that we've made off of profits from Drip, and his bag to this day is worth more than what we deposited originally. So that's our testament. I just wanted to say hi. I got to go, though.
And girl, that's how you come
Amazing.
in and drop the velvet hammer on them. And again, somebody beat All right, NYC. I think you and Trap, y'all were kind of playing a game of tug of war. Did you have something else?
Yeah, I'm not. I lost y'all for a minute. I'm not sure if it was just me, but
No, I lost them too.
Yeah, me
it went
too.
out. It went out.
Oh, really? Who do we lose? I'm sorry. Did we lose Ant Girl? Did you guys hear anything she said?
As soon as he finished, I stopped hearing
That
anything.
is horrible.
Yeah, I thought you rugged
Oh, Lord.
last thing I heard you say was that she came in and dropped the velvet hammer, and then it just.
Hey, he was about to say something about me dropping the soundboard.
Yes, because you dropped it, and I respect that. Yeah. So to sum it up, all I was really saying is I appreciate Ant Girl coming on and providing like a real life example. Because what tends to happen, and I did it myself, is we come in and we run various scenarios on the compound calculators and we expand it out over 30 days, 90 days, 365 days, and we see these crazy numbers and we tend to run with that. But there's no baseline, right? And the baseline is let me compare my hypothesis against what's happening traditionally at a bank, in a savings account, in a CD. And the game is completely over. It's like comparing apples and oranges. They're not even on the same planet. And the fact that she was able to bring to life a true testimony should, in theory, give people more confidence to just hold the line. So that's all I was really saying. And then I just wanted to see if NYC wanted to jump in after that conversation. Did you guys get that, or are you still losing me?
No, the 100%.
Excellent. All right, so again, let's revisit the question because I've got this list and I want to go through it. So for anyone that's on the line, and again, this is for my listeners, I want to hear your voices. My opinion matters to some degree because I got money invested, but it's really about the community at large. So the question is, Triple D is not out as of today. Is that a concern of yours, or are you still optimistic because it allows you to accumulate more or, re-strategize your plan? How are you feeling about it?
Can I take this one? Okay, you're going to hear my dog and my daughter in the background. But here's the thing. For me, when we found out how much was coming to the new UI, I internally and maybe privately begged that we got to roll this out over 4 or 5 weeks, something new every single week to gain people's excitement. And I am a little bit sad that we're not taking the time to really understand how many new things just came to the ecosystem, new tools, new information, everything. Yeah. And that's the only downside. But everything else is along the time frame that I was hoping for. And I think that the people that have waited the year and a half, an extra couple weeks doesn't really matter. We might lose, a few drippers here and there as this thing continues to extend. But I think the people that have stuck around are here for good.
I agree, Rock. I agree. Now let me ask you this. For you personally, you kind of hinted to it. Is there anything specific that really keeps you optimistic about what's going on outside of your tenure, right? Because that's one thing. That's a real variable on why a lot of us are still here. Is because, man, we've been locked in for so long. So it'd be silly to walk away, right? So remove that from your response. Is there something specific you can point to that says, hey, man, this is why I continue to be optimistic about Drip in the entire ecosystem?
I think what's keeping me most optimistic is that the community seems to get stronger as it shrinks its core. And then you saw that we, for the first time in 2 years, just got a YouTube channel. That alone speaks to that there's a shift in the mindset of the inner core, and that they're listening to the community about wanting drip-specific communication, one-on-one, however it plays out. I think that could be the cornerstone to it. Hey, that people haven't talked about it, but that's a utility. When Drip YouTube becomes monetized, maybe we can convince them to use that to buy and burn Drip or contest giveaways or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like that already, I think that's got to be the fastest, let's call it Drip YouTuber that's ever hit 2,000 or 3,000 subs within 24 hours.
1,000%.
Insane. So that first AMA, I bet you they became monetized.
That's a good point. No, that's a good point. I like that. No, you're spot on. I think we've got a ton to come, and I can't wait till it actually hits, because I do want to prove some of the critics wrong. I know that sounds kind of spiteful, but I'm just being 100% transparent. So I do want some of these things to drop so we can hold it over a few people's heads. You know what I mean?
And we have family and friends in this,
Yeah.
whether the friends are in this chat right here or not. Like I know personally, I've gotten my whole family in and my friends in here, so I absolutely want to prove that we were right in trusting our own community and our own capabilities, as well as developer and inner core team.
1000%. You and me both. Soundbar.
And can I chime in on that one too?
I can't remember who it was. I think it was Don Sub. I think it was. It was like, if drip got to a certain price, what would you do? And I said I would send people a text message saying two things. One, you owe me an apology, and then two, you're welcome. That's it, right? So to your point, Rock, I definitely want people that we brought into the ecosystem to win, right? Because they've all have been a little bit discouraged, right? Because everyone had different expectations. Let's just call it what it is. And we're saying, no, just hold the line. So for all of the unwarranted criticism, because you haven't really been plugged in, so you're speaking from a space of ignorance because you're not plugged in, which I get it. So you'll owe me an apology for some of the comments that you made that weren't warranted. But then thank you, because you will win based on everything that we have coming in the community projects that are on deck. So I've always been thinking about you. It's just taken longer than we all expected. And maybe that's okay, right? Because it is technology, it is completely unpredictable. And then we've got a dev who is extremely brilliant, and he's making certain that the projects that he comes out with are extremely innovative. They can't be duplicated, that they are safe food, that they can't be exploited, and that takes time, right? So we got to be patient with the process, right? That's all I'm saying. We got to be patient. All right, so man, we got the hands up, and I'm loving it. So that's crypto. You trying to say something?
Yeah, I just want to chime in on that. So, I think honestly, I could say probably at one point I was one of those impatient people, but really just took a step back and just looked at the potential to earn, right? Because I have one Max wallet, and just being able to build after creating one, because I think you really have to have the mission in your head is to get as much drip as possible to where price really doesn't matter. So I think that's changed kind of my perspective on it to where I'm just trying to get as much drip as possible. And yeah, there's been some delays, but we know that things are being worked on.
Yeah.
So if there are delays, that's more time for us to build the bag, get more drip, accumulate more, and compound. So it's eventually going to come out. So if you just continue to have that same mission and keep building, then you're going to be good once it does come out, because we know it's being worked on. We know it's going to be here. We don't know exactly when it's going to be here, but if you follow that mission, you'll be ready once it does get here.
Totally agree. Now, let me ask you this, because I want to get this one out of it's the elephant in the room, right? Because here's the one thing that I struggle with, and I'm saying for all the people that are kind of listening for the first time and really want us to be candid, and that's probably not everybody, because you probably have a handful of people that really just want bullish content. Then you probably have a third of the population who probably wants to be dead center, that says, look, just give it to me straight and then I'll make my own decisions, right? And then you have another segment of the population that are just like, yo, my life is completely negative, so I want to follow someone else that has that same negative, right? So it's probably a third cut across. So let's assume that. So what do you say as crypto, since you kind of brought it up? Like, we've heard this narrative around be patient, be patient, be patient, be patient, because we know it's going to come. We know it's going to be brilliant. We know that we've got the potential to make a ton of money. And we've done all of those things for like 12, 14, 16 months, depending on when you got into it. So I get it. I'm willing to be patient, but how do I respond when we get a specific launch date and it doesn't come out on that date and it's a repeat offense? What do you say to that person?
So I kind of brought this up, right? So I think we're too quick to get into build a dev mode, and we try to build the developer that we want for our projects, right?
Yeah.
We have to understand that these are humans, these are people just like us, and there's not going to be a perfect developer, right? So there's going to have to be things that we sometimes sacrifice. And I had brought this up before is, if the flaw of my developer is that he's not the best with dates and delivering on time, but he does deliver, I'll take that over a dev who has security flaws, exploits, hacks, things like that. I'll take that any day. So I think we just sometimes have to take a step back and know that the grass isn't always greener on the other side, and just think about the protocol, the community, and the positives that we do have, because
Yeah.
it's easy to nitpick. And like I said, I
Yes.
would rather definitely have a dev who's secure. We haven't had any exploits in over 2 years. And I think we all know how much hate the drip community gets. So I'm sure there's so many people trying to attack it. And for us to stay strong as we have been, I'll take that over, a dev who delivers on time, but sacrifices security.
Hey.
We also have like a dozen devs now, and that number is going to grow every single month as community projects show more and more success. Like, in my opinion, and I take this as you will, drip community will be successful no matter who is like whoever is at the top, right?
Yeah.
So Forex has a number of different things we know he wants to develop, and we know deep down in our hearts that yes, drip will always have a place for him, but it won't necessarily be as the captain of the ship, in my opinion, because you can have people like Coach that go on their own and go talk with a company like Spritz and actually make deals. And the best part about DeFi is that he didn't have to go to Forex. And I don't even know how you would get a hold of him, but he didn't have to go to Forex and say, hey, can I please do this?
Yeah.
He did it for the community and on his own.
Yeah.
And look at how successful that is already. And that's just the very, very beginning. There's going to be a million other things like that. There's going to be a million other games and different developments that people can integrate this dApp. Or, hey, we can make our own dApp. Like
Yeah.
Forex just proved, so far, what do we have? 4 UIs that you can actually compound, buy, hydrate. Like, this is the very, very beginning.
I totally agree, Rock. I totally agree. So let's do this. I see Trap and Sir Drips a lot. Your hands are up. Did you guys want to make a comment on this subject?
Kind of.
Right on.
It has something to do with it. It was
Okay.
kind of like an analogy. It has nothing to do with the drip garden, but it's about gardening. Okay, if I didn't have any food today, and I say, well, I'm gonna make a garden for the future, and I plant this garden, I need food for tonight, right? So that
Yeah.
don't mean I just go hungry for months and months and months waiting on this garden. Because what if it rains heavy?
Mm-hmm.
What if the fox come and eat my vegetable? I have
Yeah.
to eat food in the meantime. And I'm saying all that to say this. That's how I treat drip. And maybe I'm lucky and I got a couple extra funds, but I put the work in on one thing. Drip is my baby. I love it. I'm not a super
Yeah.
Ray or Stunner or nobody, but boy, drip is the baby. But
Yes,
in the
sir.
meantime, I have to go get bags other places to kind of make up for certain things. It ain't got to be
Agreed.
necessarily a loss, but I
Yeah.
just got to make up for certain things. If I spend 400 here, I need to make 600 here. You feel
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So that's how I like to play the game, and people don't really understand that. They get stuck in the bubble, and they start thinking, "Oh man, it's either I'm gonna either stay afloat or I'm gonna sink and I'm gonna drown." Like, but staying afloat is not really surfing. You want to be able to surf through the waves and cut through and look good while doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I do.
But
I
I
do.
don't know, man.
No, that makes total sense. No, it does. It makes total sense. Because to your point, I think, and I had to do it too, and I've done it even over the last few months or so. Sometimes you really do have to, for lack of a better word, you have to unplug, right? And reset. And part of that is, and we said, comically, go outside. And that really means just step away and re-engage with, the outdoors, your family and your friends, right? Just take a breath, right? Because if you're waking up every morning and the first thing you look at on your cell phone is the price of whatever cryptocurrency you're investing in, that thing has a strange way of changing your mood really quickly, right? Because if the price is high, life is good. If it's going the opposite way, life is bad, right? So you need other variables in your life. It could be family, it could be friends, it could be other investments, using your examples, that allow you to kind of step away for a moment. If it's about the money, find some other investment opportunity to kind of get you back to break even. If it's really about anxiety, then go spend time with family and friends, or go exercise, or go watch a movie, or go take a walk, or take whatever it is, whatever your advice is, it's time for you to do that. If you are 24/7 locked in, hanging on every tweet, every Telegram post, every millisecond of the ecosystem, drip or otherwise, that's unhealthy, right? And I understand why there is so much anxiety around it then, right? So just take a beat, right? Just take a beat. So well said, Trap. I appreciate you, brother. Sir Drip a lot. Your hand was up next. And then Coach, I see you just chimed in. Welcome.
I'm trying to get my kids set up after the bath, so Drip Coach can go ahead of me. I'll be back in a minute.
No problem. Coach, you okay with that? Can you hear me all right?
Yes, sir. Got you.
Welcome to the call, my friend.
Awesome. Yeah, I just saw I was in the drip chat, which I don't go in a lot because my views are not always welcome in there, so I'm just a fly on the wall. But I saw your post in there. I was like, oh shit, it's Thursday morning. Yeah, that's right. They got the drip, the chat. So I was like, jumped in. So
right on. I'm
ironically,
glad you did.
Yeah, you caught me. So I don't even know what the conversation was about originally, but once I saw that it was on, I was just coming to plug Spritz.
Right on.
And
your timing is good, because that's where I'm headed next. I'm actually headed towards, because what we were talking through is, I just wanted to get the elephant out of the room. Just let's take a pulse on the community. How are we really feeling? And then more importantly, for the people that are hanging on the edge of their seat, like, what is it that you do personally to kind of keep you committed and locked in and remain bullish on the ecosystem? So that's kind of what it is. And then part of it was, I just wanted to hear from the community, because I can come on here as a influencer and say all of the right things, and someone would say, well, that makes sense, KK, because that's kind of why you're here, right? You're here to create that narrative so that we stay locked in. I'm like, that's probably true, but let's hear from your community members. Let's hear what they have to say. What are they doing to stay locked in? What's on their radar that maybe isn't on mine, right? What's their story, and does it resonate with you, right? So then you can maybe take a beat and realize you are in the right community at the right time, and that it's only going to take a bit more longer. So don't give up. So that's all you kind of miss. But what I wanted to lead into is community projects, right? We have got quite a few, which is, quite frankly, unparalleled in the space. And I think a lot of us have been around long enough where we've been in and out of different communities. And personally, I've not seen a community build outside of what their primary product is. I have not witnessed it. And we have anywhere between like 4 to 6 different projects. So my question was going to be, which community projects are you guys most excited about, and why? So, Coach, that's a perfect lead in for you, my friend.
Yeah. I appreciate that. I'm gonna circle back to what you're mentioning, because I'm curious. Yeah. Anybody watching my content knows that I'm trying to figure out what the temperature test is, and like you said, there's you put this out here so that people can chime in, but any of us that's been in management or leadership positions know that the bulk of people don't speak up.
No, they don't.
They'll sit there, right? So I I think the only real way to get this, and unfortunately, it's been polarized. You can't get it truthfully, but a good test to me would be putting up a poll in the Telegram, or someone with a really big YouTube channel or Twitter, where you can have people anonymously vote, because I'm convinced that there's actually more on the quote unquote negative side, but they don't express it. And I say that because I see it on a global front where people don't agree with the ideologies being shoved down their throat, but they're too afraid to stand up and say something.
Yeah.
So that's the temperature I see in the global front. So it makes sense to see it in a more polarized arena like DeFi.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
With that, and reference something I think I heard S Crypto talking about, what do we do about the delays and stuff like that, and how do you address those questions? And I think I like what he said about the, don't get into build a dev mode, but at the same time, my humble opinion, I think people like, okay, I'm not saying we want rug pulls or exploits, but I am in the belief that people will actually ape and FOMO in more with more projects that come out quicker that may even not work properly than they would sitting on the sidelines. And my case study for that is what I've been putting on my channel about Brian Legend and Seifu. So again, I wasn't in the original Seifu and didn't even know nothing about the platform, but this guy is constantly flip-flopping, deleting his posts.
1,000%. Yeah, he is.
I mean, all sorts of stuff. But yet his not entire, but over 80% of his community is like champion for him and saying he's the best, even when he literally says, I'm not going to sell a token, and he sells the token, right? So he changes things left and right all the time, but he's quick to execute. And I think because of that, people are willing to say, screw it. This is the space. I just want something to hype, to get into that pumps, and I'll flip on to the next project. So he quickly puts stuff out, and I don't know if it's been exploited, rug pulled, if it was him scamming. I don't know any of that. And I don't think anybody actually knows. We have our speculation, but nobody knows. But they're willing to still engage with this guy because he gets out there and puts out content, even though he deletes it and flip-flops. Right.
Do you think they make money though? So I wonder if that's the loyalty. Are they making money as he's kind of changing the as he's changing the variables within the smart contract, as he's changing the rules while the game is being played? Is the community smart enough to understand what he's doing and how he's manipulating it and then using it to their advantage to make money? Because I'm like, yo, if you're constantly flip-flopping and I'm not benefiting, there's no way I'm going to commit to you. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering if the variable is they're profitable.
That's the thing. So there's anytime somebody makes money, somebody else has to lose it. So sure, there's people in there that are making money, but one would argue that more have lost money, but they still champion for him because of the simple fact that he's quote unquote transparent. He allows for discourse in his Discord. He lets people say negative things. He'll get on and address questions. So like he's in the public face, you can see him, all this stuff, right? So I think there's a lot of that human emotion side that we factor into all this. So it's like, oh, okay, even though I've lost money, because for the most part, we're just gambling. So I guess it's looking at it as like, okay, I came to the casino, I lost money, I'm gonna go try this other table. Like they don't care that the rules were changed. They just look at it as I gambled, I lost, I'm gonna keep gambling and try again over here. And here's a guy telling me about a new gamble opportunity. So I can't quite put my finger on it, but the data speaks for itself that I think most people in DeFi would be happier with quicker execution, more things to ape into because of that hope to getting $1 million overnight versus sitting on the sidelines. And I think we kind of coddle ourselves saying, well, at least we haven't had any exploits, at least this, at least that, is because we don't have anything else. So we try to find a way to rationalize the FUD that we actually have in our brains and go, well, at least it's been printing for two years straight. At least I still get my 1%
that's actually a pretty big deal, though. That's a pretty big deal in crypto to not have that in 2 years. And those that have actually been around do appreciate that. So I do agree, though, that I think the majority is still negative because I think the majority is not educated enough to make a good decision on what's safe with your money in DeFi.
No, so Anchor, I'm glad you jumped in because Coach posed the question and the expectation is that globally it's negative, right? So I want to know, can you guys hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear me because my screen is not moving. Can you guys hear me okay? All right, perfect. So let's take the moment to kind of poll the audience. So coach, let's do this in the most concise way, because I get what you're making for, but for people who are joining us now, ask the question, and then we'll look for the people that are listening tonight. What do they prefer? I'm just curious.
Ask a question like, so I'm not quite sure how to.
So to me, it is. To me, it seems it's around timing of execution, and I don't want to oversimplify it. Right? It's timing of execution. So you've got a person who's able to execute pretty rapidly, and it seems like the community at large appreciates that because he does all of the other shit wrong, yet they still follow him. So we're thinking the variable that people are hanging on to is the timing around the execution. Did I oversimplify it?
No, I think that's a good like kind of litmus test to try to remove the other emotional variables, because both of these figures are polarized, so it's really hard to compare them. But like, let's just take them out, and like, it says if you had the option between a dev that was putting stuff out on a consistent basis and on time and was forward facing that you can engage with versus a dev that missed timelines but never had any exploits, I guess.
Yes.
Can you say failing forward, or are you just talking like rapid fire getting things out? Because it's okay to make mistakes as long as it doesn't lose people's money and there's forward progress in my mind. If you just keep screwing up, coming up with one thing after another, that only makes the people that are understand the devs, let's say, swings versus the people that are like, I love the fact that I don't have to worry about my wallet on an any day basis. Like my wallet just has drip.
All right. And anyone who's not speaking, can you guys do me a favor and mute? It should be bottom left of your phone. If you're not speaking, can you mute, please? Thank you.
Yeah, I would say like, so failing, I get what you're saying, Rock. So I guess as long as your wallet's not compromised, so not a contract that compromises your wallet, but reference what you just said, losing money. So again, if we're talking specifically about Seifu, again, I know nothing about it. I'm just looking at the charts and what people say in his community. There was a huge dump and sell off, and that token dropped a lot lower than ours and all this stuff. And then there's been sales now. So there's a lot of people clearly losing money based on the price action, but yet there's still a lot
is
of
losing
people
money because of the community actions. Drip is not losing money because of the developer.
I'm not talking about Drip. I'm talking about Seifu. I was talking about Seifu.
But I don't care. I mean, your point is you're trying to ask a question. You're going to probably say I'm being emotional. But your question is, do we want to go with a developer that we can trust that our money is Seifu? Or do we want to go with a developer that hurries up and sticks to timelines and makes posts that he's not going to sell something, but then turns around and sells something? That's what you're asking us to compare.
Is that a good way to wrap it up, Coach? Okay.
No, because that's using Drip. I'm sorry, using Forex and Brian Legend. So I'm trying to remove that emotional sting, but I can see that's not possible. So however you want to wrap up the poll, you can do it in your own words, Kryptonite, because as I know, I'm already polarized. So no matter what I say, it very rarely gets across without the emotional tone.
So let me interject as well, because we want to talk emotion. I'm sorry, but yes, when you have been through the experience of being rug pulled, there is going to be emotions that's going to go into your investments. When you're choosing to go investments over priorities, maybe buying something else or choosing to put your money into somewhere else, there's going to be a little bit of a level of emotion. Yes. So to act like there's none is I'm sorry. I'm trying to respect the way you think as well. So please try to respect me and not dismiss my emotions.
No, and let's do this. Let's do this because I want us to have a very candid and transparent conversation. Even if it does get a little bit, spirited, that's completely fine, right? Because we said it's investing and there's real money, win or lose. It's an emotional space, and I'm okay with that. And I'm going to follow up with this aspect. That is one thing that I have witnessed within our community. And I want us to do a better job of that aspect. We do our best to really try to control people's emotional response to what's happening in the space. And that is a lose-lose proposition, right? And we just saw it play out on this conversation, right? Everyone's got a very valid point, but because we're kind of locked into our way of thinking and it's based on social economic aspects, what's really happening in our day-to-day lives, and the way that we think about trusting people, that's a very different conversation and aspect to me personally. And it may not be aligned with you, right? And because we're different, doesn't mean you're right and I'm wrong. It's just simply different. So this is what I would ask our community. We have to be more empathetic to everyone within the community. And I feel like we're asking people to pick a side. And I'm saying, no, man, this thing should scale the whole array of emotions, because there's some days where we're extremely bullish and optimistic about what's going on in the space, and damn right there's days that we're pissed off and disappointed about what's going on, and all of that should be allowed. And what I hope we don't do is criticize for someone being different and having a different opinion. We just got to get better at that, right? And here's the other thing that I would say is, and I don't want to seem critical, but it just kind of goes to what I'm saying. Like, I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to overstate, I feel like we spend more than enough time of trying to respond to people's reaction and not really addressing the source. That's my PC way of kind of saying what's really going on, right? And that's what I think happens in our community. And Coach, I know you guys are going to chime in. And I'm saying,
shit, we lost you.
Yeah, someone was trying to call me. My phone is blowing up. That means my guys are wrapping up their day. So here's what happens. And correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to overstate. So the point was addressing the source, right? We're just responding to people's emotional response, but what is the source behind it all? And here's the perception publicly, in my opinion, that we address the community publicly and try to help mitigate and control emotional responses by saying, hey, it's technology, things are unpredictable, you guys need to be patient, right? It's not really allowed to say anything critical because then you're perceived as a fudder. And if you say too many things too critically, maybe being transparent, it could turn potential investors off. So, hey, you don't do that. Versus publicly saying, hey, we recognize that there are some concerns at the development level, right? He doesn't really hit the timelines. There's some issues with our communications. Look, we are aware of it. Behind closed doors, we're asking for these things to improve. We get it, right? We empathize with you guys. I don't know if we hear that enough publicly. Am I on track? Am I way off base? How are you guys feeling about that?
No, I think you nailed it. That's exactly what it boils down to. It's not the developers, it's not the project. It's, can you have a space for this rainbow of emotions that you just listed? That's the real issue, I think, at hand. Can you have a space where people on both sides and in the middle can express themselves without one side being silenced? That goes back to the narrative I was talking about for the global negativity, where people are silenced and unable to actually speak up about things they don't agree with. So if that were the litmus test, or that's where you're polling in the group, would you rather have a community where you could express this level of transparency and communication, or a community where one side is silent versus the other? That, to me, is the underlying issue.
Rock.
And listening,
I'm sorry.
And listening to that, I will 100% agree with that. I do think we need those spaces. And I am grateful to things like this Twitter space right here, that we can hear both sides. I firmly believe in the drip chat. I think the main drip chat obviously is for newcomers. I am one that I refuse to give up on it. I hear all the time that people hate going in it, but I honestly feel like it is so bad because OGs have given up on it. But I also understand why it is very hard to interact in there, because unfortunately some voices are silenced too quickly. As an admin in those chats, granted it's only AF versus drip. I mean, you get bombarded with stuff constantly. The DMs are constant. So I can also empathize in the headspace of just a minor little mod in the chats that you can misinterpret things very quickly. I think it's just empathy all around that needs to be felt, and we have the community that can feel that. So I do think there's a place for emotions. I think there's definitely a place for logic. You ask my husband. My husband is a logical person, and I am the emotional person. But I think you have to have a space for both. So I do agree with that.
Soundbar.
Can I just say, without emotion, you have no community. So the reason why we've built a community is because we've gone through the good times and the bad. And if you go through a range of times, that's when emotions come into play, right? Like I have dividend paying stocks. I have zero emotion one way or another if that company fails, other than the fact that I stopped getting a dividend. There isn't, but I also have an Airbnb that I built myself. There's real emotion when a renter comes in and busts up a pillow or a window or leaves a mess, right? It's the same thing. What you put in is the community and why we actually are all fighting towards it. Like some people, and I've told Coach this at the beginning, is that I didn't understand his point of view, and I had almost like not a negative, but you want to be in an echo chamber, especially during times of uncertainty. So I told him that I literally had to stop watching his stuff for like a month or two until I realized how unhealthy it was. And in every other facet of my life, I look for a challenge of my point of view. And for some reason, because of my emotional tie and uncertainty itself, I had to go back into that echo chamber. But that leaves no ability to improve. And when we're dealing with emotions, we're dealing with somebody's truth versus a fact, right? Facts are undeniable. And that is my absolutely adorable daughter. So I'll let somebody else
part of the conversation for sure. It's allowed. It's allowed. Okay, Rock, I appreciate that.
Good to
yes, sir.
Real quick, my brother. I see a couple of hands up.
Yeah, Sir Drip a lot, and
because we also want to hear from folks that we typically don't hear from.
Agree.
And let's get some of that perspective in there
1,000%. So the next person up, thanks us, NYC Crypto. Let's see, who is Sir Drip a lot. Are you ready to talk? I know you were dealing with something personal with the family. Perfect. Welcome back, my friend.
What it comes down to is really nobody's the same. Nobody's the same. I'm not the same as Drip Coach or Ant's Girl or New York Crypto Investor, right? There's something to fit everybody's needs somewhere, right?
Yes.
That's what the Drip community brings. That's what crypto brings. That's the whole thing. So obviously we're never going to be seeing things lengthwise, right? I like a lot of Drip Coach's content. I don't like all of it. It's not that I don't see the negative picture. I just don't like the negative picture getting transmitted on a public platform. That's just all it is personally for me. Like, I think Drip Coach is a super smart guy, and everybody, I appreciate a lot of people. I'm pretty adaptable, and it just, a lot of it comes down to just finding where you fit in, like maybe being like continuously working on DCA and then everything like that's not your thing. You're looking to get rich overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can go find some projects that might do that for you, right?
Yes, because they exist in the space. You may not get rich, but you can gamble. Yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question, because you brought up something I wanted to get to. Because I don't know what Coach's point of view is, or maybe a couple of comments you made about his content, not him specifically, but his content. So I want to be very clear and kind of underline that word, the content. Yeah. Is it possible to be critical and not be a fudder? Is that possible? Okay. Yes. Okay.
I'm always cautious in my mindset, right? I'm always thinking ahead. I'm thinking of what could possibly happen and how I'm going to handle that if it does happen, right? but I'm not going to go out there and start saying, hey, I don't know about this, because then I'm going to tell somebody and they're going to be like, hey, I don't know about this either. You know, it's kind of like, you know, kind of like depression or angry or anything like that. You put yourself around people with that emotion, you're going to pick up that emotion.
Because that's the energy that you're transmitting, and the universe is going to pay it forward. So if you're always being negative, the universe is listening, and it will send you a sack full of negative content, emotions, and problems. And if you're thinking more favorably and positively, on the opposite side, the universe is going to respond accordingly. So I believe that as well. I do right now.
So I just want to say, like, I've gotten the chance to work with Coach for the Marketing DAO, and I don't know if there's more than a handful of people that put in as much time and energy into our community and for the better of our community than Coach himself. And that's like me not being able to keep up with the amount that he does.
I don't know if anybody can. I mean, that dude is a machine. Hey, Splatter P66, Brusco, I've got you in.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
1000%. Welcome to the call, my friend.
Thanks, man. So my point of view, I respect Coach. I've been listening to him for a long time. So I definitely respect his point of view. I don't always agree with it, but I respect it. For me, I've been hydrating and DCAing my first wallet for like the past 15 months. And I'm like 42 days away from maxing that wallet.
Congratulations.
You know, thanks. It's been a long run. And so why does that keep coming up? So, my thinking is this. So Forex is working on the Drip project essentially for free. Okay, he doesn't have to do it. He doesn't make any money off of it.
Good point.
Okay, so so for him to be willing to put his knowledge into, you know, improving this platform, I for one, I missed the first run, but I firmly believe that it's going to happen again. There's just no choice. When the bull run starts, you know, 2024, 2025, and with the new utility that's coming out for it, it's going to run.
I agree.
And so I just sit on the sidelines for the most part, and I don't really feed anything, and I don't critique him, because as with the UI, it's going to come out. As with Animal Farm, it's going to come out, and it's going to be epic. You know, we're on his timeline because he's doing it for free.
Yes.
You know, so I'm not going to mess with him. You know, I'm not going to mess with him. If it was something that he's making money off of, I'm pretty sure that he would have a different perspective. You know, I mean, if you're making money off of something, if something, I don't think he needs money, but if it's something that you're going to profit on, you might put a little bit more effort into a timeline, and then again, maybe not. You know, because it's Forex.
That's logical.
Yeah,
it's logical.
So I just leave him alone. You know, it's going to come out. It's just a matter of time. You just have to wait him out. You know, he's working on it. He promised the UI, and it got delayed, but it's because this thing is flawless. Nobody's going to hack into it ever. You know, and I've been burnt several times, you know, not aping into things, but chasing the shiny objects, and that's how you get burnt. You know, and Drip has a track record.
2 years in counting.
You know, so right. So I'm not. I first got into Seifu, and I think it was like at $190 or something like that, and then it crashed right when I got into it. You know, so I'm not going to chase those shiny objects because I know the Drip is coming back. I just know it. I
agree.
I just, you know, and I tend to stay out of the chat because it's chaos in there, you know, and a lot of the FUD is actually, I guess, paid promotion. You know, they come in to the Drip chat and they push their own stuff and they just talk crap, you know, and then you have other people that are emotional and they're impatient, you know, and they just don't know how the system works, and they want to make money right now. It just doesn't work like that. You got to wait. And so I don't mess with it. I wait, you know, and it's irritating, you know, it was supposed to come out last week. It's irritating, but I'm not going to complain about it because I know when it comes out, it's going to be top
Sounds
notch.
good. Hey, Bruce, let me ask you this question, because just for my own personal context, how long have you been in drip? Because you said you missed the first kind of run up. So were you, when you say you missed it, did you get in and you kind of rode it up and didn't take profits, or did you get into drip after the run up?
I got into drip on its way down, March of 2022.
Okay.
So my first drip was like, I think I got in at around $14 or $15, something like that. And, you know, I don't have a lot of money to invest. And so my first purchase was like a piece of drip, you know, because because I don't have a lot, but over 15 months, I missed the first run, but I seen what it did.
Yeah.
And that was with no utility and very little promotion on, very little promotion on YouTube.
Great point.
You know, I just happened to catch people like Coach, and I caught Crypto Kings and Stunna, you know, and a few, you know, the few that were promoting. And, you know, that it did it with no utility. Imagine what it's going to do with utility.
Right. No,
and
we've got utility. We've got a much bigger community. We've got a ton more influencers on YouTube, Twitter, and all these other. Yeah, we got Don Sup. He's on was on TikTok and Instagram. So to your point, man, we are all over the place. Like, the base is so solid now. It just is. So once he's ready to launch, it's going to be epic. To your point. Epic.
Right. Yeah. I mean, look what happened to Animal Farm.
Good point. Yeah.
You know, so I'm just waiting him out. You know, he's on his own. He's got his own timeline. You know, and I'm sure this man is just all over the place.
But I'm gonna go back to what you said before. Like, he doesn't work for us. To your point, right?
No, he doesn't. He's doing it for free. So I can't complain.
He does not work for us.
I got the bad in on the phone.
I might get rich, from this guy, and he's doing it for free.
We have to remind that. You know, it goes without saying, but no, we have to remind people that this is he isn't getting paid for this gig, man, and he's putting in a tremendous amount of sweat equity, and he is getting raked through the coals, and I think it's unfair, right? Most of it is completely unfair. So
for him, I just think it's reputation.
Yeah, definitely. He's got a brand. He's got a brand. He probably wants to be the best in DeFi or be considered the best. So you're right. He wants to make sure that Drip is around for many, many moons, and that the Animal Farm and Drip become the anchors of this ginormous ecosystem he's building. I agree. All right, Coach and S Crypto, I saw both your hands up. Coach, you were first.
Yeah, mine's just gonna be real quick, and it's hopefully doesn't get taken the wrong way, because I do believe this. So like, I forgot who that was just speaking, but what you just said as well, that Forex doesn't get paid for this. But what we're supposed to do in DeFi is don't trust but verify. Now, I do believe that he does not get paid, and he doesn't take a debt.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. Let's be specific.
But we don't actually.
Let's be specific.
Yeah, but we don't actually know if he was able. Like I showed the REAP DAO and how the positive sentiment is in there. We don't know if he had any REAP, if he had another wallet. We don't know if he had a Drip wallet. We don't know anything about that. And I do believe him, so I want to preface that I believe he's not taking any or selling anything, but we can't verify that. So instead of just echoing things, we're supposed to, in crypto, verify ourselves.
Understand.
So if you cannot, then you can't just really say that wholeheartedly, but you can definitely go ahead and believe a person's what they're saying publicly. Like that's the extent you can push it. But we don't know. That's all.
No, understood.
Based on his reputation, I take him at his word. He said he doesn't, and based on his reputation and his work, his work especially, I take him at his word.
Yeah, and that goes back to the belief system. Yeah, I agree with you. So I think both points are valid. Both points are valid. Like, if you've got the technical ability, the savviness to execute, trust but verify, clearly that's something you want to do, especially when you're investing, hard-earned money, the USDC $ stuff. Yeah, you probably want to verify a lot of this stuff. But then it goes back to your belief system, Bruce, in that, it's been 2 years and counting, right? 2 years and counting. He had massive opportunities to hit the switch, turn this thing off, pack up, and move out of the country. And that also hasn't happened, which is why we believe him.
Right. He made it clear that he has pigs.
Yeah.
He made it clear that he's invested in Animal Farm.
Yeah.
And so I believe him,
Yeah.
you know, and he said he's never made a dime off a drip.
Yep.
And so based on his reputation and his work ethic, you know, I just have to take him at his word.
I agree.
You know, even though I can't verify it, you know, sometimes you just have to trust, you know.
Yeah. No, I get it. Trust me, I do. It's kind of how I live my life too. I do tend to give people benefit of the doubt until they prove me wrong. Yeah.
Right. Until they prove me wrong. Like other DeFi projects that I got into that, you know, I thought it was the greatest thing.
Yeah.
You know, told people about it and then they shut it down, you know, and I lost like 3,000 Matic.
Yeah.
You know, never did get that shit back.
And that's a lot of Matic,
you know,
my
so
friend.
it is, you know, and so he's never done that. He's never burnt me. So I got to take him at his word.
No, that's good stuff, Ruth. I appreciate you chiming in too. Anybody else want to echo on that point?
Yeah. I mean, and at the end of the day, if he's taking profit or he's not taking profit, no one can ever truly prove it except for him.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, in DeFi, we can only look at our own wallets. And
He's
I
allowed.
signed up for a contract that is working exactly day one as it said it was going to work.
Yeah.
And my money is Safu.
Hey.
And that he has delivered on.
Agreed.
If he is taking profits, he's allowed to. He created it.
Hey, I gotta say soundbar for both you guys. All right, let's do this because I want to kind of stay on this same narrative. All right. But let me just double check. Let me welcome a couple people. Lady Mania, welcome. Dividend Miracle, welcome. Experience Crypto, I see you, my friend. Hey, I know you're traveling the globe, but if you've got a moment, you want to chime in, wave your hand. I'll invite you as a speaker. DG, I already know you're going to say no, but I see you, my friend. Lavelle, welcome. All right. So let's do this. Since we're talking about Forex right? This has come up a lot lately, and it's around community-driven products, right? So I got to a question. I really didn't get to an answer, so we'll circle back. I want to know which projects you guys are really excited about. But before we get there, let's kind of think about this one and provide some perspective. How do we feel about the community creating products, which I believe is a good thing? Do they need to be approved by Forex Shark and his team in order for them to be considered Seifu?
No.
Well, I trust AI drip, and it's people coming from a project that was already DDD. Quinn was the guy behind the smart contracts on it, right? So I don't know. I kind of watch too who speaks on something too, because I obviously don't know how to deep dive in the projects like some of these other guys do.
No, and
right?
that's real. That's a real valid concern, right? It's like, hey man, you guys are trying to instruct me how to dig into the blockchain and kind of trace someone's wallet and quantify whether or not I don't know how to do that. So in the absence of that, it goes back to I believe them based on everything I've seen so far, right? So I get that. So let's go back to you're saying no, in your opinion, it doesn't necessarily need to be approved by Forex Shark and team because you're aware of who the dev is and you trust them personally. What about the community at large? Like, do we need that stamp from the team to really get behind a product? Or you're saying, look, it doesn't need the stamp from Forex Shark and team. It's really up to the individual investor to do their own research and decide whether or not they want to invest. If it has the drip brand on it. Because that's the hang up. Let me be super clear because I had a moment to think. That's really the hang up. Anytime it's got the drip brand on it, DRIP, somewhere in the label, then all of a sudden there's a bit of scrutiny, skepticism, uncertainty on whether or not I should trust if it doesn't get that stamp of approval. So what do you guys think?
It falls into reputation again. Forex is not going to let anything on his platform he's not going to let anything jeopardize his reputation before he checks
So,
it
Bruce,
out.
would you invest
Which I
in a
agree.
product that you considered safe with the Drip brand, and Forex is like, nope, don't do it?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't sign off on
Okay.
it because I've done that. You know, I've invested in things that I thought were safe, and I got burned. You know, more than once. And so I understand Forex is, his reputation is everything to him. It's important to him. And so I understand that he's not going to let anything on the Drip platform or something that includes the Drip name come out without him first checking it to make sure it's safe, which I respect.
There's a lot of people that have used a Drip name for the benefit or just to show that they're part of the community. And a lot of them are in this chat. And most, if not all of them, I trust as at the very least good representations of the community. And then, yes, if you do use the Drip name, there is a responsibility behind it. But like, we didn't ask permission to do the Drip marketing DAO, but it's for the community. So it needs the name to be part of it.
I'm just talking about the product, the Drip network. If it's going to be like Triple D, if it's going to be attached to one of his products, not the name, but one of his products, I wouldn't. I personally, if I was a dev, I would not co-sign that without it first being checked out by me.
That's a good distinction.
I 100% agree with.
Okay, that's a.
So you're not talking like the Drip AI or the Drip 21. That's not what you're talking about.
No, because it's associated with Drip, and it's going to send Drip. You know, we're going to earn Drip off of the AI and that type of thing. So, but it's not attached to the product.
Yes, understood.
Right. So if it gets attached, if it gets attached, then he should have 100% justification for checking it out. You know, because his shit's never been hacked.
And I totally agree with that too.
You know,
I totally agree. Okay, so Drip a lot, because you brought it up, I want your opinion on it, because I know you are in AI Drip and you've made a few videos on it. So can you hear me okay? I want you to chime in.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of what road you want to travel, right? You could keep on the straight and narrow road and just do directly everything that Forex releases or gets approved, right? But some of us want to try and make it a little bit faster, right? So we can put a little bag in here or a little bag in there. It's like, do you want to travel the gray road, something you kind of want to trust a bit, or you want to travel, the red road, where you might get rich or you might just fall off instantly, right? Kind of just finding what suits your needs. Again, because that's what Drip community is. That's what crypto is.
Yes.
What suits your needs again.
Got it. So in your case, you're saying, I'm totally fine with it. Just do your own research, essentially.
Exactly. That's what everybody yelled at me when I first joined in crypto. Do your own research. Don't just, hop into things. But, my research may be a little bit different than, say the big brains, like people who know how to dissect the whole project.
Because yours is going off of optics and kind of what you've seen from an individual over a sustained period of time. Like if there's a specific YouTuber that you follow and they've been consistent in their messaging, and you resonate with their story, you're going to lock in and at minimum trust them. Again, goes back to trust them unless they give you a reason not to. I dig with that. I can rock with that. Yeah.
I kind of AI Drip, when it was released, it was probably the first outside of Drip project I actually invested in. But it was all of the names, these were all people I've trusted, all people that I know go through things with a fine tooth comb without connecting their wallet, know?
So
I kind of follow, I watch what the community, where they move in a way.
So let's ask this one, because I want to bring this in full circle, and then I'll bring Coach in, because I got an idea of what he may say, because he's got personal ties to a couple of projects in the community. But I want to stay on AI Drip because I want to bring this full circle. So did it at all concern you that Forex Shark essentially poo-pooed on it? Did it not?
He didn't really poo-poo on it. He didn't want people talking about it, right? It's kind of like, what if I created a brand called, Sir Drips a Lot, and then somebody else came in with a brand Drips a Lot and started talking about it in my chat, and took all of my, my investors, right? Because it's still fresh capital that could just be coming straight into drip.
Mm-hmm. Good. So it didn't concern you?
No, because I kind of know how Forex is, right? He's kind of straight to it. This is DDD's time. Everybody should be looking at it. UI's time. Everybody should be looking at it. Not talking about some other side project that he's not a part of.
No, and the reason I wanted to get that out there is because I know that there is some uncertainty within the community on how they should navigate AI drip, right? Because the messaging is a little convoluted, and you're getting mixed messages from, you know, big influencers in our community. So you just don't know which way is right. Some may say, hey, I follow this one specific influencer, and because of that, I trust them and I'm going to forge forward. Other people are saying, yo, man, this is the Forex Shark ecosystem. So if he says no, then I say no, right? So people are like, I don't know what I should do. Complete transparency, I'm all in. Right? I'm in AI drip because I trust the messenger. I just do. You know what I'm saying?
You want to know what the best influencer is?
I trust the messenger. And at the end of the day, it's my money, right? So I'm willing. Look, I could lose it all, or I can make a little bit of money. I'm willing to do that.
Lose it all, lose your cup of coffee.
Yes, I'm willing to do that.
$3 to get in, right? That's really much.
I mean,
to lose,
we're in DeFi,
unless you know it drains your wallet. But that, you know, I don't know.
We're in DeFi to do a little gambling. Anybody who tells you they're not, then you're in the wrong space. I mean, DeFi involves a little bit of gambling. It is a high risk space. It just is. And you better know that, man, you could go from a hero to zero in a blink of an eye, right? So just if you understand that going in, you'll probably be smarter with your investments. You'll probably be more grounded with your emotions. You know what I mean? You'll probably make the right connections in the space. Like all of those things you better understand before you start investing your hard-earned money. Because this space is not for the kind of heart. It is not, man. It's risky as hell. But I was cool with the messenger. I really was. All right, Coach.
Yeah. You like you said, you already know my stance on it. I think 100% that the community, the individuals, that's what crypto and DeFi is about. So you need to, if you have a project, you want to create something, then you reach out to the actual people in charge, which would be the content creators, or you start creating your own content. And that's how you get the support for the projects. Like you guys mentioned, like I said, we have to trust at some stage. So you go through and you find content creators that you trust, and you're like, okay, they're getting in. That's how we actually do our own research.
1,000%.
I'd say 99.9% don't know how to read the blockchain or read Solidity contracts, right? So we're all going to some content creator, some blog, some Telegram group where everybody's echoing what we want to hear, and then we go, okay, cool, I'm in. Like that's really what it boils down to. So if you create a gatekeeping funnel, then DeFi will never grow. It's going to always be stifled. One person cannot put out all the utility and contracts and projects that the community actually needs and wants. So you have to have a way for DeFi to grow as decentralized finance by people creating their own utility and applications and then going directly to the community that they want to onboard that with and saying, hey, here's my face, here's what I do, check me out, here's this other person's with it, and then off to the races. Now, of course, with drip, because of how it is, it's going to get polarized that you didn't run it through the proper channels or whatever. And like Rock said, I actually caught some flack from Ray in a private chat about using drip marketing DAO. I didn't go to Forex to use the name drip for the marketing DAO. Now, how ridiculous is that? Like, we wouldn't be where we are now if I tried to go get permission, because I don't even know how you reach the guy, to be honest.
And that's why I was saying the drip is the pain point. That's why I wanted to kind of clarify and get a read on the community. Because it's kind of its own brand, if you will. So I do get the argument. It's like, hey, you know, this is a Forex Shark production here, man. And if you want to use drip in the title, don't you want to meet with the guy? So I get that aspect of it too. And then I also echo what you're saying about the community. Crypto. Yeah, so it's a double-edged sword. There's no right answer. Yeah.
Right. Like I get it, like from traditional, right? So you can't go take Nike, you can't take Reebok, you can't take Apple, right? Because that has a trademark. DeFi and crypto, there is no trademark. There is no ownership. So how can you not go to like build a DEX, like do what Brian Legend did again and start tying token pairs together? What ApeSwap had done when they had Drip over there, when there was teasing Pulse Chain, they had Drip over on Pulse Chain. Why do you have to go to someone who created one? There's a lot of contracts that are created that you don't even know the dev. It has no figurehead, it has no team. And then there's the ones that do. But the solution and the reason we're in crypto is so that you don't have to go to someone. Like that's why the tokens are there and on the contract, so that you can not trust but verify. You check the contract, it's Sapu, you go, hey, I'm gonna now make a utility for this contract. There's people who have wrote stuff for SHIB, there's people who've done stuff for Doge, and they're not part of the official Doge and Shiba development team. It shouldn't have to be that way. It makes no sense because we're just going back into the shadow banking problems that we had before if everything has to go that way. You can use the token and then let the community decide, yes, it's legit, like AI Drip, or no, it's not, like, what was the one? Monopoly money, that rug pull. It's like, okay, cool, don't do that again, and you don't do it again. Real simple.
Yeah, I'm with you. I debate that with myself constantly. Yep. I do. I just want to see how it all evolves because we're clearly early adopters and we are navigating uncharted territory. And we're going to hit a whole bunch of landmines and dead ends is what I was trying to say until we really figure this thing out. And that should be okay, man. I mean, you got to fail forward. You know, you just have to. And sometimes you got to beg for forgiveness. You just get some shit done and beg for forgiveness, man, because I agree. Sometimes there's something to be said about showing initiative, right? And not always going to your leader of the organization and asking what you should be doing. They've got 1,000 things on their mind. And the last thing they need is for you to keep tapping them on the shoulder and asking, what should I be doing next? Then I don't really need you, right? Then I really don't. I need you to be, to show some initiative and create your own thoughts and create your own products and allow me the time to kind of evaluate it. But I don't have time to think about everything you should be doing. Then I don't really need you. So I get it. So who just joined us? And I just want to make sure. Dividend Miracle, I think it was you, right? You still there? Yeah. Dividend Miracle. Okay, did you have something to say? I just want to make sure.
No, nothing too much. I mean, I'm enjoying the conversation.
Okay.
And you know how I usually am. I missed the past 2 weeks, and we still don't have DDD. But you know what? As far as everybody else has said, we just wait. I think it was Bruce. We just wait. And I think Donset was on here earlier. I think he left, but where else we gonna really go? I mean, I'm stuck in the project. I'm in a few other things that's not Forex Shark related, and I'm making money over there, moving money around. But being honest with you, where else are we gonna really go? And I think I'm more calm now. And I was on a few Twitter Spaces before, and I'm not gonna really, I guess, cause any FUD or say anything like outrageous because I do have a Max wallet.
Congrats.
I maxed it out last month, and I put in the work. It's not many projects that go on for 2 years. But I've been in Drip since January of 2022. And I only put 3,400 into it. And I made a post on this, I think on Don Sepp's Twitter to some further or whatever, but literally I hydrated every single effing day. I think I may have missed 1 or 2 days or like a week because of vacation or family, but I kid you not, I hydrated from January 2022 until I maxed out my wallet in May. Every single day. I only put in 3,400, and I DCA'd when Drip really went under $1. So what I'm saying is, I'm not gonna really complain. I'm gonna make my money back, and even if it took longer, like I said before, I'm not gonna go too many other places. It's just not too many safe places. Every other place is like you're looking over your back. Like, is it gonna rug or something gonna happen to my money? Like, at least with Forex Shark, and he has delay after delay after delay. DDD was supposed to come out last month. I could be upset, but it probably won't be out until next week, being honest with you. It's Wednesday night. Thursday, he likes to launch stuff on Tuesdays and Thursdays for whatever odd reason. It'll probably come out next Tuesday. I hope it comes out this week. But you know what? I got a Max wallet, so I'm just chilling. Like I hate to say it that way.
No, but I mean, but don't hate to say it that way, because it is, you know, the half full aspect of it. Because I challenge people to think about it in this way, and you said it perfectly. When I got into Drip, very similar to you, maxing out a wallet when I first got in was going to be an impossible task. Literally.
I was like, I'm never going to make this.
And to say, you know, in a little over a year from when I first got in, that I've got a max wallet, that is a epic milestone. You know what I mean?
No, but you know what's crazy? I know there's a lot of us on here, but you know what's crazy? At 30 cents, I said this on Doncept's Twitter Spaces. At 30 cents, what is that, like $1,600 a month after taxes? $1,800 a month.
And where are you going?
Like,
and do you have to get in your car for that? Do you have to change your clothes and
like
clock in or any of that?
I don't think anybody. I mean, I know people realize it, but I don't really think people outside of Drip realize that. If Drip stayed at 30 cents, 35 cents, and didn't move, and I just kept it at all these max wallets, and you know, all the projects we have, and if DDD come out and Drip goes in the tax vault, if all Drip did was stay at 30 cents, I'm making $1,500 solid every single month. Like, I don't think people
think about
are comprehending that.
No, because
like that's crazy.
They're not thinking about the $1,500. They're thinking about the $1.5 million. You understand?
Man, I'm not worried about that. Like, I'm gonna be good. I'm working. I got other stuff I make money from. Like, if all Drip could do for me for a whole solid year from now, and it exits or leaves June the 15th of next year, and I'm making $1,500 a month off another wallet too, I'm good.
All the way.
I mean, what more? Like I said, maybe I guess my whole thing is changing now because I got the Max wallet, and Forex could take his time. I mean, I'm gonna still be like, why is he delaying this stuff? But if everything's gonna be Safu, cool, great. But I'm making my money back by next month. I got my money in Animal Farm and other stuff, Droplet, BBB. I'm moving money around now. I'm taking money out. So basically what I'm saying is, this is the first time in like 2+ years being in crypto that I could say I'm actually moving some real money around, and I'm taking money out through Spritz Finance and doing what I need to do. Beforehand, I was losing money. I get compound the money and all this stuff, and rugs were happening. And I maybe take out $100, $200 here or there. But like, I think right now, and I don't know about nobody else, but now that I got my Max wallet and I'm in all these other projects under Drip, like Droplet, BBB, like other projects, I'm actually moving real money around. Like, I could say I'm moving around like 1,000 plus a month. Like, I'm moving it, and this is the first time I can say it. So Forex could take his time. I'm being honest. Like, he could take. I'm at that point. Like, I'm at the point where he can do what he wants to do.
Yes.
Like, I'm good. Like, I guess 2 or 3 months ago, I'm gonna be. I guess you could be like, I'm fudding. I'm just waiting.
Yes.
But I put in a year and a half. Like I just told you, I was effing hydrating every single day. So I put in the time. I'm good now. That's all I got to say. I'm good. And I hope and I'm realizing each week people are making that Max wallet. And I think the gentleman that said he got 40 days or like 60, like once you get the Max wallet, get your money out, move the money around, put in other stuff, pay some bills off, you good. And I can honestly say Forex has done that for me. So I'm gonna ride with Forex. And I said this before, to the day I die or his projects go to zero. I'm gonna rock with him until then. I guess I'm gonna be a Ray Barter.
Right.
But that's all I gotta say. I appreciate it.
I do have to point this out because Dividend Miracle, you're on probably every week, and you're right. Your narrative and your tone has transitioned to being more optimistic and positive. Because to your point, once you've achieved that epic milestone and you were able to slow it down and quantify it, like I keep trying to help people understand like what you're saying, and it's not resonating with people. So when I do quick math, I'm like, you know, you can get into this investment, you get a Max wallet and you'll make like $50 a day. They're like, oh, okay, well, whatever, you know, it's not a lot of money. I was like, hold on.
That's $1,500
exactly. They
a
don't do the
month.
math. They don't do the math. So I say, hey, you know, just kind of slow it down. You know, let's slow it down. Let's go ahead and multiply that number by 7. Okay, what do you get? 350. Okay. Now multiply it by 4. Where you at? $1,500. I said, okay, great. That's probably your rent. Maybe a mortgage payment, covers your utilities, allows you to take a vacation if you haven't had one, right? Put food in the cabinets and in the fridge. Like you can do a lot of things. And I remind them, and I say, guess what you're doing to earn that? You're hitting a couple of buttons here and there for about, 2 minutes a day. Right? That's passive income. I'm not saying you retire with the $1,500. You kind of maintain your lifestyle, but then you upgrade it because now you got $1,500 of extra passive income coming in. Wouldn't that change your life? And they're like, oh, I didn't see it that way. Yeah, I know. You're expecting $1.5 million a month. I'm like, no, your expectations are blown out of proportion. Let's slow it down, man. Let's be honest. An extra $300 a month could change people's lives. An extra $500, $1,500. That's epic. That's epic.
I'm not saying Forex can keep the land.
Understood.
But if it's gonna make all our money safe, I'm cool with that. But DDD was supposed to come out.
Hey, we ain't got time for that. Hey, but, I appreciate you.
yeah, you're right. I'm gonna shut up. All right, move on.
Turn the page on the chapter. Don't go back and reread the pages. We're in a whole new chapter. All right, Dividend.
No, but being honest with you, no, everything is cool. I'm just waiting on DDD, like the gentleman Bruce. So just waiting on DDD, like we all are. If it hits $1, I'm gonna be at these fudders.
I'm gonna be at their next too. Yeah, I'm gonna be at their next.
Right on.
All right, everyone, let's do this because we're at the 6:30 mark, and you guys know I always run long, but I'm conscious of it. So I do want to spend time on one subject, and it goes back to the community. We can kind of wrap it up here. We've got quite a few projects, amazing projects within the ecosystem. All of these things create incremental utility for Drip. And what's even more incredible about them is they're all created by community members based off of their sweat equity and their hard-earned money that are pouring back into the ecosystem. So I just wanted to give people an opportunity to kind of talk through maybe a couple of those projects. So if there's a handful of people that are not familiar with them, let's maybe highlight a few projects and talk about the benefits associated with them. And then, of course, people do your own research and decide whether or not it's something you want to support. But I'll just go ahead and kind of name a few. So we've got Spritz, we've got AI Drip, we've got the Auto Drip Burner, we've got Foodtopian, and we also have Drip 21 and Brick by Brick. Is there anything the community members wanted to say in regards to these community-driven projects?
You got Bitfighters into the
Bitfighters. Well. Okay, that wasn't on my list. I'll add that now. Yep.
The new Dog Pound NFT project coming up. And what stood out to me about that particular project is the amount or the percentage of the revenue that's going back into the Drip ecosystem.
It was pretty hefty, wasn't it? Like 90% maybe?
Man, I think from what I recall, I think it was like 80%.
Okay.
And for me, that plays a big factor in, whether or not these projects are, really supporters of Drip.
Okay.
I look at it from that perspective because Forex pointed something out about how if only, let's just say, for example, if only 10% of the revenue is being allocated back to Drip assets, then are you really, are you really for drip, or, you're just trying to get your project off the ground? And, something to consider, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not taking shots at any projects out there, but in reality, if we want to keep the drip price afloat and we want to stabilize the price, or, see another quote unquote all-time high, whatever that may be, like, a lot of the projects that have come out really just have, in my opinion, taken, fresh capital away from drip to advance and, their ideas and their development. So I just leave it at that, my brother. And
understood.
Drifted well. NY Crypto, can you talk a little bit about that project? I know all the others, but that new Hellhounds are.
So because you've been MIA for the past 2 weeks, but I'm glad you turned over a new leaf. Shout out to you, my brother. Shout out to you, man. Yeah, so there was actually CryptoCraft was on last week's AMA, and they talked about their project. So you could that's still available, Drip
Yeah, it is. I'm actually going to post it tomorrow. I've already got it queued up on YouTube.
So yeah, because I don't want to get into details, and I don't want to misquote anything, or I don't want to
so
put any
the short story is CryptoCraft has come up with an NFT project, and it's called the Dog Pound NFT project. And primarily, they're going to be selling NFTs in the image of dogs. So they're using AI technology to create these NFT cards, which are just brilliant, and they are beautiful as well. And once you purchase the NFT cards, there's going to be some gamification associated with it, like most NFT projects. But primarily, it's going to be used to acquire dogs and pigs in the animal farm and stake them. I'm not sure where they're going to stake the dogs, but they're going to stake them into the dog pound and then pay out to the holders of the NFTs, BNB, right? So they're probably going to be in the linear pool. And then they're creating all types of gamification associated with it. They're really trying to get a substantial position in the animal farm because they're dog lovers, and they realize that there is a huge segment of the population that kind of enjoys dogs. So they're going to kind of tie it in with the animal farm. And to NYC Crypto's point, a massive amount, 80% plus, is going to be back to the stakeholders of the NFTs.
Cool. That reminds me of Crypto Ranch. I pitched this one to you as well. That's a project still in development, and that's with folks like yourself as well as other content creators. So that's an idea I came up with, but it's actually meant to be a community-owned project, NFT staking in the animal farm, dog pound, and drip as well. So that's still on the back burner due to us waiting for Triple D, but that's another one. And Team Drip, Mystify, has a channel where he's basically taken the MLM kind of structure, and you go to his website and you can use his referral code, and basically it puts it into, I guess, a database. So as more people use that system, then new people that are added to Drip end up getting those new people under them. So you're basically building a team without having to be the front runner of a Medium post or a YouTube channel or Twitter or whatever the case may be.
Interesting.
So that's
what's that one called again, Coach?
Team Drip. So the channel's name is Mystify. I think I have him coming out tonight. So he tagged me in a video, and I have a video on it. So anybody out here also on Twitter, like I told everybody, I'm going to cover anything that's drip related, but I'm not looking for your projects. I got too much work to do. But if you pitch it to me, elevator pitch, I'll definitely share it on my channel. I'm not the biggest content creator, but I believe 100% in the DeFi community aspects. So I'll share it and give the disclaimer that you got to do your own research, but I'm not going to be the one gatekeeping drip potential projects.
Excellent. Right on. I appreciate that. All right, speakers and my listeners, is there any other projects that we want to cover? Just want to make sure.
So this is Lavelle, so I got some real quick. So I would like to see like kind of a ranking order of the percentages that these projects are giving back to Drip. That would kind of allow me to kind of digest the information and say, okay, you know, this dog's NFT project is giving a whole bunch back to the ecosystem, or this one project is giving a whole bunch of money back to Drip. And then everything else would just be at the bottom. And at that time, I could kind of decide, do I want to invest in that particular project, or does it not matter? Or it incentivizes those people to raise the bar as far as how much they're contributing to the Drip ecosystem.
Understood. I mean, that's a nice metric. Yeah, that's an interesting metric.
Can I say something to that?
As crypto.
So I'm curious because I kind of keep hearing it, but what is the community's expectation when it comes to how much a project gives back to Drip? You know, is it, you know, if they use the name that they should use or put a certain percentage back to Drip, or kind of what determines how much a project should contribute back to Drip or the animal farm?
So you know what? I don't think it has to. And I mean, that's a good question. It doesn't. I mean, what it has to be. I mean, you know, I don't know what number it would be, but you know, is it like maybe 10%? I don't know what the sweet spot or what the number is. Now, at the same time, if they're giving a lesser amount or we're being ungrateful, I don't know. I just threw that out to the group to just say that's kind of my thought process. But that's a great question.
As crypto.
Yeah, I'm just curious because I know that, you know, people probably have a different number and, you know, they have an explanation of why that number is that number. So I'm just curious if anyone in the chat has, you know, thoughts or opinions on that one.
I've always thought about that. I think is individual based, because I'll look at certain projects, like say 3 of them that's involved with Drip. I'll look at how I can invest in it and then how much is given back to Drip. So I think it's a mixture of things for each individual. That's what I think when I look at the project.
Yeah, my personal opinion is that it plays a big factor. Because you're building a project off of the back of the Drip community. So at the end of the day, you know, I don't want to put a percentage out there, but that project, if you're pulling investors out of the Drip community. So you know, you got to take that into consideration.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this: if you were pushed to quantify it, because it sounds like you've got a pretty firm stance on people kind of pillaging the Drip community and seizing money from the ecosystem. Let me ask you this: so because you're so passionate about it, like what?
That's a whole fact, though.
No,
that's a fact.
And you know me, I look. I'm not judging anybody. I'm just here to
I'm gonna say this before
what
my
that number may be, if you were to quantify it. Like, if you said, hey, the number typically starts at 10%, but because you're leveraging a community that now supports you and your brand, I don't think 10% is enough anymore, because you've already got this captivative audience. You've got Drip in your title, man. You really stealing from our brand equity here. So that number needs to be what, in your opinion, NYC? Just you.
In my opinion, no less than 30%.
Okay.
And again, that's just my personal opinion. But if you were to go directly to Forex, what was the numbers he gave? What project was that?
Was it Drip 21 or Bit Fighters? I'm not sure which one you're talking about.
I think he put 30%. I think he put 30% on the table for the developer of that developers of that project. So, and then I think Forex was taking a cut out of that, but not just to ride off the back of Forex, but in my personal opinion, I think a minimum of 30% should go back. Especially if you're using Drip and, you know, as part of your you know, the foundation of your project, because you put Drip in the name, and that's like, that should be an automatic 30%.
Okay, I dig it.
But again, you know, I'm no, you know.
No, but I mean, that's why we're here, though. I mean, because I think it's a great question that as Crypto brought up. Yeah, let's not assume. Let's kind of poll and kind of figure out what the community thinks. I don't know if it's going to change anything, but maybe people feel better about it if they say, hey, look, the benchmark for anybody kind of branding their product with drip in it, man, if they're giving away 20 to 30%, I feel better about supporting it. I don't know. We're just kind of talking. That's all we're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Okay, good answers. Good answers.
Yeah.
From my perspective, like I don't have a hard number, but I 100% agree that if you're going to use drip, you should, allocate a percentage back. But as you guys may know, I put out a video. There's a lot of people that are tapped out, and as we know, DeFi is all about the hype. So
Yeah.
I used to think the same argument that you're stealing money from drip, but you're not. These people have decided not to add to drip. Why? Because it's not performing the way they want. So they have the risk capital, and they are literally looking for something else that looks more exciting. So in my opinion, any percent is better than nothing at all.
Okay.
Because they're doing nothing with it from the numbers that I saw.
Yeah.
The people in my community and the ones I ran from Drip Network. So you're literally sitting on $20 a month of risk capital that you can put in. But you're like, screw it. I'm not going to DCA in the drip. It's going down. So they have chose not to get in drip, not to get in the animal farm, not getting pigs. You can see it from the TVL, but you can see a meme token pop off. You can see a new project pop off. Why? Because it's a shiny object that the energy is looking for.
Yeah.
So I agree. If you're going to use drip, should be a nice amount going to it. But at the same time, I can't help but recognize the laws of DeFi energy that they are going to go. Capital is going to move to the next shiny object. That should be like the law of DeFi.
Yeah. I mean,
So
and we've seen that play
you
out.
need to have
too.
something out there.
Yeah, I agree. We've seen that play out too. Wonder Woman.
So I just got to say, Drip Coach, like you talk so much about emotion, but what you're describing is emotional investors that are literally bouncing around and chasing the shiny object. I mean, so, okay. I mean, and I get it. I do agree. I had to call out that for me, there's not a number. I mean, if anything, drip has proven that the community actually keeps a project sustainable.
Yes.
So if you're going to ride off of drip, you better be coming with actual intentions to fix drip for me to invest in it. Mm-hmm. So I want to see you actually trying to add utility to drip, not just trying to make your own brand using drip's community. That's just my preference.
Got it. Hey, Anchor, can I ask you a very personal question?
Oh Lord, depends on how personal.
I wouldn't do that to you, but it is personal in terms of I don't know how transparent you are with what you invest in. So it's really going to be a question along those lines. So are there any community-driven products that are kind of doing it the right way, in your opinion?
I had a lot of hope in projects that I did invest in, community-driven. Yeah. And what I saw is that at the end of the day, they didn't stick to the plan of what they said they were going to do. And at the end of the day, it didn't actually help drip. It took away capital from drip.
Okay. Good to know. And you did a great job of not calling out a product specifically. Well done.
I'm not going to do that because I honestly feel that everybody is doing it with the best intentions.
I totally agree. Okay. All right. So, man, we are just getting fired up and it's already been $1:50. It's been an hour and 50 minutes. How are you guys feeling? Because I guess I should wrap up. How are we feeling? Did we cover the projects?
I
just want to make sure we're good.
Yeah, so this is
I'm chilling. Okay. But I like the one project, Auto Drip Burner. I really like that one. That one's interesting. And then goes into animal farm pigs. I like that one.
I'm excited about that one, and I'm excited about Drip 21.
Yeah, I'm also excited about Drip 21.
Yeah, those two are on my list as well. I'm pretty excited about those. Like, do we know enough about Auto Drip Burner to give like a 30-second soundbite?
I mean, I'm invested in it. The dev Major Zero I talked to a little bit, but he said they're not going to do major marketing until after DDD.
That's a good call.
So that was like 2 weeks ago. But it burns drip, and then it buys animal farm pigs from the BUSD that you put in, and then it gives you the ADB token to stake to earn BUSD in animal farm pigs. And then I think you mentioned it, Drip to Wealth, before, like 2 or 3 weeks ago. They do have a subscription, so you can pay $24, $30, $45 a month, so you can automatically burn the drip, buy the pigs, and get those tokens of stake. So I like it. It just needs some marketing and some more TVL in there. It's just really small, but it's pretty good after reading the white paper. I really like it.
Okay.
So, quick question: is it actually burning drip, or is it sending it to the tax vault?
It's sending it to. I'm sorry, it's sending it to the tax vault.
Okay. I was just curious. No, you're all good.
It's all on the website. If you go to the website, it tells you how much drip is sending to the tax vault. It's very small because it's not that many people in it. But like I said, the dev said they're gonna ramp up marketing and get YouTubers on it once DDD is out. So
excellent. Okay, I'm glad you said it. I appreciate that. And girl, seems like you're interested in it, and more to come. Okay. Perfect. All right.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good, my friend.
Let Ant Girl know I put some more money in the reservoir the past week. So just
Reservoir's love. Yes.
Yep. And I guess I'll be part of that the drawing.
Stuff the res, guys. Every week.
I'm doing that.
Every week.
And what can they win?
That's the way that we make sure this is sustainable. And every time one of us gets a piece of that pie, we make it even more unbreakable. We've got to keep stuff in the res, and everybody has a responsibility for that. If you want this thing to actually be sustainable.
I agree.
This is the way.
I agree. And girl, for those people who may be living under a rock, can you tell them about Stuff the Res, the competition? Yeah.
Yes, of course. So what we've done is basically we are scanning BSC scan, and basically anyone who is not donating, because it's your investment. We're not asking you to give away and burn drip. We're asking you to invest your own money into the reservoir. It is a B&B yield farm, and you will receive B&B based on transactions from the native DEX, as well as taxes that come from reservoir deposits in and out. But basically, just the simple act of being a part of the reservoir weekly will put you into a drawing for 300 drip a week. It is a community-funded community project. We have 3 members that are the custodian wallets. It's myself and Legacy and Emmett. And basically, we already checked the blockchain. You do not have to submit any entries. We have a script that will pull all available entries. We put you in a wheel, and whoever randomly wins will get 300 a week. And it's every week. So we're just encouraging everyone to learn about the reservoir and invest in the reservoir.
And the investment is really small, especially even more so because B&B is under $300, right? So it may cost you, I don't know, $25 or something like that to enter in for a chance to win 300 drip and then harden the drip price. Come on. And then still earn dividends. It's a trifecta. It just is. Get involved, everyone. So if you got more than one wallet, you should be in the res on each of those wallets. I'm just saying. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying.
So I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that statement, because the reservoir is all about your percentage of the stake. So honestly, like for my team members, what I recommend is if you have multiple wallets, you pick one wallet and you dedicate your reservoir dedications from that wallet, because it's all about your percentage of the stake, how long you've been in the reservoir, and you're going to accumulate those transactions over time. There is 0% tax for claiming that B&B dividend that you receive. The only tax is if you deposit and withdraw your full amount. But that B&B that you're earning, I mean, that has easily paid for many drippers gas fees this entire time. It's not sexy, as Emmett likes to put it. You're not getting huge, dividend returns. But again, if you're in this for the long term and you believe that drip is here to stay and that people are going to continue to use the DEX fountain for their transactions, then, becoming a liquidity provider to the DEX, fountain is the way to go.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because that is a massive distinction. It just really is. It's really based on your percent of ownership. So you're right. If you spread it across, you're still relatively small per wallet. But if you combine it all into one, yeah, you get a larger percent of the share. I like that. That's good. I hadn't even thought about it. See, I'm always learning too. This is brilliant. Brilliant.
I just especially if you're going to be spending all the the gas on the multiple wallets, you might as well just combine efforts into one wallet and dedicate that to the reservoir.
All right, I'm always learning too. Life is good. That's what the community's for. Iron sharpens iron. All right, so here's what we got. We're close to 7:00. See, I'm telling you, you guys talk too damn much. That's what it is. I'm telling you, it's not me, it's y'all. Let me stop. All right, so we've got Wonder Woman came in, and so did JC. And of course, I got to let you guys speak. All right, Wonder Woman, you came in before JC. Do you still have something to say?
Of course, I got something to say. What's up, friends?
What's up?
So a couple things. I'm really enjoying this chat because I feel like not everything can be understood via Telegram text, and that's really is a good space to have that discussion back and forth, because there's always YouTubers talking at you, but you don't really get to talk back and forth to them that much. Like maybe you get to ask a question real quick or something, but this is a nice platform to have, and I wish more people did stuff like this. So I'm not trying to take it away from you.
You can't take away from me. I'm a fighter.
So a couple of things I wanted to point out that I was thinking about when all this discussion has been going on is when I'm looking for in DeFi, crypto, which is very hard to find, let's just say integrity, right? Because for me, it's integrity. Forex has integrity. He may be late on dates, he may whatever, but he ain't stole nobody's money, right? He ain't never diverted it to something somewhere else. And I mean, maybe I could go down some contracts and read it all and all this other, but I ain't got time for that. I just have seen over almost 2 years now his integrity, taking notes every day, his passion for what he wants to do for the people. That is what crypto is for, the people, right? For you to be in control of your money and for you to take control and you make that yield, right? And so a lot for me, it's like when people say they want to use drip and then, they bounce off the community, whatever, we're all hyped because it says drip and we, might know them in the community, might not. We've had it both ways, right? Some random comes in, all of a sudden is like, I got a drip thing, hey, whatever. We're like, we ain't seen you or know you in the community, but we'll invest, because we're DJs and we're bored and we need something to do. So until Forex gets all these games out, right? So I get it. But my problem is, like Ants Girl was saying, is when you finally come out with stuff and you say it's going to be for drip and then switch 2 months later, disappear, do all kind of stuff, then come back with the new thing, want us to do more money. It's just like, I don't know. I've seen it many a time. And so I feel like you have to be in the space for a certain amount of time to see those comes and goes, because we know it's all about to come again. Wait till DDD comes out. How many of these people are going to come back from under the rock that they have been in to promote, get back in the drip once they see it pumping back up? You know what I mean? So you just got to be careful out there. And another thing I was going to mention too is this drip 21 thing that's getting a lot of hype. I'm excited for it. We'll see how it goes. But I was just going to put out there that Brandon Drip Guide had him on today, DeFi Crypto Boss, talking about drip 21. So if anybody wants to listen to that, I'll be doing the notes for that. I do his, tags for his videos. But so I just wanted to say that, and I'm just excited to be part of this community and be here this so long time with everybody. And I got 3 years piggy bank stake, so I'll be here. You ain't getting rid of me yet.
We're all gonna be here swimming in cash.
Right. We still gotta hydrate. I don't know why everybody's so up in their panties, Just hydrate every day. You're gonna have to be here when DDD comes out. Guess what? You're still gonna have to hydrate every day.
1,000%. Right on, Wonder Woman. Well said. I appreciate you coming on and letting your voice be heard. And I'm gonna say this again for all of our listeners, because I know how difficult it could be to actually hit that button at the bottom left of your phone and request to speak. It could be uncomfortable, but I'm doing my best to let you guys know through the way that I interact with you that I'm not a very judgmental person. I just really ask a question. And if it's something I don't completely understand, I may rephrase it to make certain that I interpret your messaging, that it's coming across the way that you expect it to our listeners. But this is really a safe space. I just want the community to come on and let your voices be heard, because there's going to be people that are going to chime into the Twitter spaces and click on something that says Drip and Animal Farm. And they want to have a community that is transparent and candid, right? Because those are healthy conversations, because the reality is they're going to have very similar questions and they don't know how to respond, react, or interpret the question. So by people having very different perspectives allows them to then form an opinion based on information. And it's coming from very different perspectives. And that's our globe. Like, everyone's not built the same. We don't look the same. We don't think the same. Our lifestyles are very different. So there's probably someone on this Twitter Spaces that some random person is going to resonate with. And it's going to help them make informed decisions, better decisions on how they invest in the space. So that was my short request to say, as we continue to have these Twitter Spaces, find your voice, because it's all about the community. And just come on. And if it's the first time you have to say something like, hi, I just want to say hello. Thanks, KK. I appreciate you doing what you're doing. If that's all it takes to kind of break the ice, and then when we come back the second week and you ask a question, cool, let it be that. But it's really about the community and not this sexy voice that's humming in your ears. All right. So it's all about you guys. Okay. With that said, JC, you came on, my friend.
Thank you. All right. So I'm just doing a little bit of fact checking, I guess you could say here, and some of us do have a little bit of experience doing this. So I was just like, man, he's giving me a hell of a prelude. So thank you, sir. But anyway, just something to clear up. One thing is that before the show, I think we had about 38 notifications by Mr. Rick's bot saying that was how many we've reservoir stakes we've had today that got noticed. So that was pretty good. That was a pretty good
how
count.
about this for context too, JC? Because 38 already seems like a massive number. Like, what would be a typical day if you were able to quantify it?
Dude, honestly, I mean, in the last couple of weeks that we've been doing this, I would say maybe 10, maybe 15, but
that's
38,
huge.
dude. Yeah, we're cleaning out. So
yeah, I will say for the Step the Res qualifications, we've had probably around like between 40 and 60 qualified though. But last week we jumped up to over 100. So it is gaining traction. And we do have a bot coming on Telegram. It is coming. I'm twisting my husband's arm every day, bless his heart. And he is working on that. So it is coming. And we will have more stats that we can share about the Stuff the Res campaign.
Right on it, girl.
I was hoping that you were going to take that out. There we go. That's what I was going for.
Did she steal your thunder, JC?
No. I was actually hoping that I was going to set her up. I was going to say, "Hey, Ants girl, we get a little bit of alpha for him." So there you go. That's one of the things is that STR we will have a new bot that will be talking about keeping everybody posted as far as qualifications go for the week. So that'll. Another thing that I wanted to bring up real quick though is. Earlier we were talking about how going through Forex as far as approval and all that sort of stuff. It was made very clear that isn't something that we have to do. But, as far as like if you want to get on the community page now, right, which that's the whole idea of this new page as well, this new UI is that's going to be for the community. Well, then it would be good to get it past him, but then that would give you the max exposure of the entire thing, sort of thing. So, it is what it is. But if you want that full approval, and here's the feature presentation of the newest thing in the drip space, then get it approved.
I'm with you on that one too, because it's really all about. It's really about scaling at a much rapid pace and then really trusting the product if you do it that way. I think things would just take a bit longer if you didn't, right? That's all I'm saying. It just would take a bit longer. Not to say that the product's not going to be successful or supported by the community. It would just take longer because you have to build the trust within the ecosystem for people to get behind it if you don't have the verified stamp of approval. So I agree with you there. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And you know what? One more thing. And these are interviews and things that a lot of folks might not have heard. But as far as if you listen to some of Forex's earlier interviews, that he actually talks about his experience and like, you know, why he's building the things there are. There's one video that's actually out there that I have in my personal Telegram. I believe I saved it. That he actually, it's like a whole bunch of sound clips all merged together. That this is his perspective on why things need to be done. And that, for me, that particular video was like one of the most clarifying, like, oh crap, this is his headspace. This is why he's doing the things he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And for anybody that's new into the driposphere, the Forex system, the guy is literally DeFi's Steve Jobs. So just wanted to put that out there.
That's good.
He wants everything perfect.
That's good.
So
JC, is there a literal video, or you're just saying just conversations?
Yeah, there is a video.
Okay.
There's a video. It's different clips. Like, here's the question that's posed. Here's the answer. And it's just a whole bunch of composites of like his perspective on why he's building things the way he's building them.
Interesting. Now, do you still have access to that video? Is it something?
It's around. Yeah, I got it somewhere.
Man, if you can send that and maybe add it to a tweet, that would be dope. I didn't even realize that such a thing actually existed. Yeah, that would be helpful to just kind of, I refer to it as actually getting to know the person behind the curtain. Because again, that's all about, you know, trusting. And to your point, understanding why he does the things that he does and the sequence in which he releases them. So there's clearly method behind his madness. And there's only maybe a handful of people that exist on the entire globe that think like him. So no wonder we don't quite understand and comprehend why he's doing things. It's not intended for us to understand it. It's really intended for us to believe and trust it. So
yeah, he's really on that level of you know, Elon and Jobs, and you might think, you know, one way or the other of them as specific people, but as far as visionaries, you know, it's just like there's not many people that compare to what they're doing.
Exactly.
So
I get it, man. And I'm glad you came on and provided that type of perspective. Again, man, I swear to you, I really appreciate this. This is awesome content. And you guys are really the secret sauce, the community. And I'm not overstating it. Like, Twitter Spaces is an empty space without the voices of the community. So I appreciate you guys kind of digging in with 2 hours and 10 minutes. Like, I know we don't ever plan for the conversations to go that long, but they do. And it's really because you guys are engaged. And I don't want to cut it off, because it's not often that, to everyone's point, that your literal voices actually get heard. So I'm going to be here every Wednesday having a conversation with you guys, not talking at you, but having a conversation. And I'm okay with it getting a little grimy and spirited, because as a community, that should be allowed.
As long as you don't ban me, you good.
I will not ban anyone. I don't think I've done that yet, unless they came on and said something really stupid. But no, we haven't had that. So we've been pretty fortunate in that regard. But hey, here's what I want to say to you guys. I do really appreciate you all. If there is anything else that you guys wanted to kind of bring up in the next minute or so, I will be open to that. Otherwise, I really do appreciate you guys hanging in there and having a very candid conversation about where we're at. Net, it seems like everyone is committed to the space. We're going to be patient with the process, and we all believe, I'm underscore the word believe, that Forex will deliver, and there will be fruit at the end of the rainbow. All right, guys.
Yeah, I just dropped that in there as well.
I agree.
There you go.
So I appreciate you guys. Anything else before we kind of wrap up to any of my speakers? Ant Girl, Crypto.
Use Spritz.
Oh, hey, you're right. Hey, I'm working on
Use
that one.
Spritz.
I'm working on that one for next week. So we'll get into that one in detail. But Spritz is I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to let Coach give me the 30 seconds, and anyone else who actually has used it. Yeah.
Just
quickest, easiest way. Sign up for them, pay bills in the US, and you don't have to sell any assets. I want to echo that. You don't have to sell any crypto. You don't have to sell any of your drip. The easiest and best way to do this is take whatever your bill is, say it's $100 cell phone bill, send that over in stables to your wallet. Take that stable coin, pay your bill from there. There is 0 fees for anything under $100 on Spritz.
Damn.
Once you do that, anybody that has interacted with the faucet contract is entered into this global wallet, so to speak, and they will be basically buying and burning drip based off burning, meaning sending to the tax vault, based off of total transaction volume, total number of people signed up, and this is just the beta test. There is a huge amount of potential after this gets launched for what this can do as an ongoing monthly bill off-ramp kind of system with the amount of people in drip. And even if you're not in Spritz in the US, if you still are a dripper, forward the information to other people, get the word out there, because the more people use Spritz, the bigger they can make this next push be. So there's literally 0 reason why anybody should not be looking into this, even if you're against it for some odd reason.
Got it. And we're going to cover that in length in a conversation with their team, because I do think it has massive potential. And I think it's a matter of just kind of educating the people on how to use it, the benefits associated with it, and then how it creates some momentum in terms of utility in the drip ecosystem. By a real quick show of thumbs up, any of our listeners currently using Spritz, just really quick, give me a thumbs up if you are. Okay. Dividend Miracle, Wonder Woman, Ant Girl, Coach. Okay. So not a lot right now. Okay, so there's an opportunity. Okay, perfect. Trap, I see you. Okay. So probably about 15% are using it. Mighty Mofo. Okay. All right. So there's an opportunity for us to scale that up. All right. Wonderful. Ladies, gentlemen, my family, my drippers, that is a wrap. And I do appreciate the conversation. Today was really cool. I mean, we had some amazing people with very strong opinions. And I feel like we kind of left it all on the court, and we can go back and kind of hug each other and say, hey, man, that was a great conversation. And I'll see you next Wednesday. So nobody, I really hope nobody's leaving outside of saying, man, that was a really good conversation. Not, I'm really pissed off at that particular person. I don't get that we ever got there with this conversation, which is great. And that's the whole point. It's about being heard and showing empathy for people within our community. So great job, everybody. So with that said, I want to wish you all peace and prosperity. Stay hydrated, everyone. Have a good night. NYC, Ant Girl, Crypto Bag Trav, as Crypto 101, Drip Coach, Lavelle, Wonder Woman, Dividend Miracle, Trap, Lady Mania, I've got a new face, Bitso Sats, welcome, Hold and Hustle, thank you for hanging in there. We also have Kalo, Ladies of the Faucet, welcome. Mighty Mofo, my new best friend. Remember, I told you that's between you and I. Do not tell anyone else that you and I are best friends. All right. We also have Black Pluto and Money Bags Crabs. Very interesting way of saying that. I appreciate you. Thanks for hanging in there. Who else do we have? John Snow. Thank you for hanging in there. Appreciate you spending time with us. We also have Low E. Thank you. And J Baby. It's just jokes, bro. It's just jokes. Right on. I appreciate everyone. Peace and prosperity. Stay hydrated, everyone. See you next week. Take care.